Hi everybody, Happy New Year! Welcome to a new video series where I share, hopefully regularly, what I'm making. My name is Rachel, I'm 31 years old. I live right outside of Raleigh, North Carolina with my husband JD. We've been married a little over 9 years now, and my 2-year-old son Denali. I have a lot of reasons, sorry, I have notes there. I have a lot of reasons why I wanted to make videos, but I think the main one, and I could probably ramble about that for forever, but I think the main reason is because I really love empowering people to also go create. A lot of times when people ask me to make them things, my first question is, well, can I just teach you how to do it? Then you can make whatever you want to. Which, you know, some people don't have the desire for that, they just want the thing, and some people have taken me up on that. So I've taught quite a few people how to knit past few years, and that's been great. But I also want to just empower people who, I don't know, might feel like they're a little bit weird creatively, and they just don't know if the world will accept them and their art. And I feel that for sure. I struggle with that personally, but I also feel very accepted by God. So as a Jesus follower, I believe that we're made in the image of a very creative God, a God that created everything around us, including a lot of really weird things like praying mantises and I don't know, I can't even think, like weird lizards, and anyway, sorry I'm rambling, but anyways, we're surrounded by a lot of weird creative things that God made, and I just feel very accepted in my creative weirdness, and that's a big deal. And I feel very free in creating just what I want, what I feel like brings me joy, what I feel like blesses people around me, and it's just fun. I just really enjoy making, and I'm passionate about that, and I want to share that with you guys too. So I'm hoping that this video series does that, and I know videos have helped me so much in my creative journey. I think that's been probably my main way of being inspired and learning and being empowered myself. So I just want to give back a bit to that. So anyways, yeah, all that to say, art is important, and I want to share some of what I'm doing with y'all too. So my current art that I'm excited about doing, I'm doing a lot of, and we'll probably share the majority of here, will be things I'm knitting, things I'm embroidering and sewing. Embroidery and sewing I haven't done as much of this past year because we've been moving and everything's been in flux and those things have been packed away, but we have them all out now, and I actually have a home and a space to lay out things, so I'm excited to pull all that out. So I don't have as much to show of that today, but I have a lot of knitting to show. So let's just get into that. And I want to start with what I'm wearing. So I made this past year. Oh wait, before I really get started, so 2021 was a really hard year for me and my family. This is our third move in the past 8 months, and of course pandemic and all the things that go along with that, and mental health stuff for me, and lost a couple grandparents. It's just been a really hard year, and I think I responded to all of that difficulty with a bit of obsessive making, because knitting, specifically knitting, I don't know, I think it offered a bit of escape and peace, and keeping my hands busy, my mind busy, doing something that was fun and restful. So I made so many things this past year, and I thought about collecting them all and doing one big video, but honestly, it just doesn't sound fun to do that because it's so much. So I think throughout these videos going forward, I'm just gonna kind of like wear different things that I've made as I go and just show you a few throughout the next few videos, and hopefully you can kind of get a taste for my style and I don't know, just like what I've been doing. So to start with, I made this is the Ghost Whisperer top by Oh gosh, what is her Instagram handle? I think her name is Park and Knit, maybe. I'm gonna put links to everything in the description so that you can look up patterns or whatever if you are interested. But yeah, it's mohair. It's like this gorgeous hot pink mohair, and is actually pretty warm. I'm like sweating a little bit, but I think I'm also just a little nervous. And yeah, it's comfy. I've never knitted with mohair before I made this, so there was definitely a learning curve with that. But and I've also never made anything this color. I have hated the color pink, and I can say hate, that's a real word, that's not exaggeration, until this past year. And I still don't like most shades of pink, but this like hot pink, almost fuchsia color is just, I don't know, it's spoke to me this past year. So I made an entire top out of this color. Also underneath, I made My Little Secret Crop by Jessie Made. I think that's what it's called. And it's this pretty light blue cotton. So this was cotton that I had bought as a 13-year-old and was gonna make a tank top out of a Vogue knitting magazine, because that's what I read when I was 13. And never finished it. So I ripped it out and was able to reuse this cotton, which is great. Also, one more thing that I made last year that I'm wearing are these socks. These are my first fingering weight knitted socks, and I felt like I'd really gone up in the world. They're not twins, but they're siblings, so they're slightly different. But I love them. They're a little bit big, which makes sense. I mean, it was my first sock, like real sock, so I didn't know how to size it very well. But they're great slippery socks, and also I can wear them in my like bigger boots that just have more space for big socks. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing that I've made. So let's just go on to things that I've finished recently. So many of the things I finished recently, actually, I don't have because they were Christmas gifts or just like birthday gifts for the past couple months. But I do have some things that I finished just this past week. So I can show you those things, and they're all on a blocking mat here on the floor, so I'm just gonna like pick it up because they're all a little damp still. I'm gonna pick it up and show you and then put it back down. So the first things here are these crazy socks. These are basically like, you know, the leftovers from here is here, and then I got this other like weird green going in here. And I'm like so confused because can you tell that this sock looks a little bigger than this one? Yeah, I don't know why. I counted my rows. They're the exact same size sock, even though like the striping's a little different because I started running out of yarn. But I guess I haven't tried them on since they're still a little wet, but I guess if they fit, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, so there's one thing. Then I made this hat, just like a little beanie. I got this purple yarn from a indie designer that I found on Instagram, and it's great yarn, but I wasn't expecting this color. I thought, when I ordered online, I thought it was more of like a royal blue, and it's more of like a bluish purple, which is very pretty, but it's not what I was hoping for, and it's also not really a color that I love. But I really am happy to support her, and I also just feel like this was the color I was supposed to have, so I can go get blue yarn somewhere else. But I've been trying to just like use it for different projects, and I've got a project I'm planning on using a good bit of this yarn that I'll talk about later. I have plans for, but I made this little beanie. This beanie took me 2 days of obsessive knitting, and this beanie is a little bit bigger, but these are all my favorite colors. I just decided to only use my favorite colors in this one instead of making an experiment. So this is leftover orange yarn from a sweater I made for Den. This is leftover from Christmas gift, and this is leftover from these socks. And these are my favorite colors, and a hat. Again, these hats look bigger now that they're blocked, so hopefully they'll fit. And then yesterday I knit this entire hat for my husband, and again, it looks bigger than what I knitted, which the one I knitted for him was a bit tight on him, and then I blocked it hoping it would stretch a bit. So I do think this is gonna stretch, or I mean, I do think this is gonna fit better now that it's a little bigger. But this is exciting because, which leads me right into my works in progress, I guess. That's basically all the finished, like completely finished things I have. But yeah, so I do have a few works in progress, and that hat was the leftover yarn from this sweater. It smells good. That it was finished, and then I blocked it, and I'm just like new to this whole blocking thing, and I'm not good yet at being able to tell how much something's gonna grow after it's been blocked. And I did a swatch and blocked the swatch and everything, and I don't know, my calculations were off. But this I used a pattern for. Let me find the back. Here's the sweater, look how long it is. It looks like a dress on my husband, and he's not a small man. So, but honestly, I mean, oh yeah, sorry, I need to tell you the pattern. So the pattern is, gosh, what is it called? It's by Max the Knitter, and it's a great pattern. It was super fast. Like this texture on it, look at that. It's like super easy to learn, so it makes it look like it's something a little more complicated than just stockinette, you know, like straight knitting. But it's not like I had to refer back to pattern constantly either. And oh yeah, so I'll post the pattern down below if you're curious. But since it's so long, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a big deal to just, okay, so I knitted this top down, meaning I started at the collar and worked down. It's raglan, so here's the raglan area. So because I ended at the bottom, I don't think it's going to be a big deal to just like rip back and then add the bottom ribbing from a shorter part. So maybe rip back to like here and then add the ribbing again here. And I need to do the same for the sleeves because the sleeves are also too long. They just like flopped off his hand last night when he tried them on. So yeah, so I thought I was done with this, but I guess I'm not, which is okay because I really liked this yarn's really soft. It's from Knit Picks, but it's one of their nicer yarns. It wasn't a super cheap one. It is superwash merino worsted weight superwash merino wool. So yeah, again, all the details will be down below. So yeah, so that's my first work in progress that I wanted to show you. My next work in progress is another knitted sweater that I started months ago, but have had to kind of put down so I could work on JD's sweater and also Christmas gifts and stuff. Sorry, I need to drink. Okay. Yeah, so this is called Starring, and it's a pattern by Stephen West. And it's gonna be super weird, and I'm so excited about it. The construction also has been really fun. So this is the front. I pretty much only got the front panel, but I can kind of like show you how it's supposed to work. So here's one sleeve. You start knitting at the end of this sleeve, and then you work your way up the sleeve, and then you start increasing so that there's like this long drapey front and goes like this. And then there's shoulder pieces, a collar, and of course a back piece and a little triangle piece that'll go here. The short side I can stand up so you can see how, oh, you can't even see because, yeah, see look how long it is. You can, there's also an option to like have a button around back, and then you just sort of like attach it. So I'll probably wear it like that because it's not super practical for me to be having a long thing. But it was so fun to knit. It's seed stitch. So it's got this fun texture. And I don't know, this is all like thrifted acrylic yarn that I'm using for this. It's pretty soft. I don't love using acrylic yarn anymore for garments because it's just so warm. And I live in North Carolina, so I just don't need all this warmth. But because this was like kind of a weirder sweater, a bit of an experiment, and I didn't know, I don't know, I just felt like it felt less risky to use some of my thrifted yarn on a project like this. And it helps me be a bit more experimental with, like this isn't part of the pattern. You're supposed to use the same color all the way down, but I'm gonna use this color in a different part of the sweater, and I just wanted it to have a little bit more symmetry with the different colors I'm using. So it'll have more colors on the back panel, and then you're supposed to embroider with like a crochet hook stars on the front of this, and we'll see if I decide to do that or if I decide to do something else or leave it blank. I don't know, but it's really, I don't know, it's really pretty and drapey, and I'm just excited to have this weird sweater. So as soon as I can get JD's sweater done, because I want him to be able to wear that for pictures we're doing soon, I can hopefully get this sweater finished too. Okay, and that's all my knitting works in progress right now. I have finished a lot of stuff with those hats and socks and Christmas gifts, so I don't have a lot else that I'm working on besides those 2 sweaters knitting wise. I do have an embroidery to show you that I started, oh gosh, last year sometime, that again just sort of got put away because of all the craziness with our moving, and we've lived with friends, 2 different sets of friends this year, and I just, you know, most of our stuff was in storage because we couldn't keep a whole house full of stuff at someone else's home. Anyways, that makes sense. So I've shared this a few times on my Instagram, but this is a flamingo. And so this embroidery is done over, I don't even know what this fabric is. Came from a thrift store. I think it's maybe a piece of a curtain or something. It's just weird. It has like this satiny back. You can see it's kind of shimmery. And then I stitched over the more matte, fluffy side or soft side. And then I have this kind of turquoisey tulle that I layered, and then a flamingo with a ring around it. And I think I thought I finished this, and then I dissolved the design. Sorry, I use, what's it called? It's that silky solvy stuff that you can draw a design on, and then you put it on your fabric and do the embroidery over it, and then you soak it in water, and the solvy stuff dissolves away. So once I dissolved that away, that's when you can really see what the embroidery is going to look like, and it just didn't look done. Like, you can't really see the shape of the flamingo's head very well, and you know where this white kind of blends in with the white background. I don't know, I just didn't like it. So I'm trying to figure out what it needs, and yeah, so I'll just keep playing with it. But it's my flamingo embroidery. And then I have a sewing works in progress that I'm excited to get back to, because it's just kind of like, I haven't sewn in even longer than I've embroidered. My sewing machine's been in storage for longer, and I really need some more project bags, like for my knitting. And I got really into knitting like zippered pouches last year because they're so quick and easy, and I use them for organization in like every possible category of my life. So I started making these scrappy pouches. So I took like a bunch of different fabrics. I think I have 4 here, and just sort of started placing them together and trying out different things. So, oh, there's 5, just kidding. So I have this little skinny one, in this one. So they need a good iron, and I've got a bunch of zippers I got from the thrift store. I like to use as many materials from the thrift store as I can, just because it's like a fun creative challenge. It's cheaper and better for just reusing things. But I have all these fun zippers that I was gonna match with the pouches. And then I'll just have a few new pouches to organize my stuff in. So yeah, so that's sewing. I think the last category I wanted to share with you is just some of my project plans for the next month or two, just so you know what's coming up. I have all this very colorful yarn. I'm not gonna show you my yarn every single week or anything, or every video, but this goes with my next project I was gonna talk about. So this is more of that purple. And my project plan for this, at least for now, it could change, is to make the framework bralette by Jessie Made. So I'm excited to do that. I think this should be enough. I need to check the yardage on that, on the pattern, but I'm really excited to have that. I've been wanting something that I can wear instead of a bra underneath my sweaters and stuff that's just like more comfortable, and it makes sense for me to just make it for myself and learn some new techniques while I'm at it. And then I've got all this other very colorful yarn. As you can see, I've got this blue, orange, lime green. This is more that leftover magenta from my hat. I have some whites. Yeah, so I'm gonna be designing a cardigan for myself, and I have a few more colors I wanna pick up for it, but I wanted to have a piece of art on the back that I do some intarsia, some color work, maybe some embroidery after the fact on, and I haven't actually made the design yet, like the design that's going on the back, but I'm just really excited about it. I've just been like collecting colors the past month or so, just gearing up for it, and yeah, so that's coming. I think once I actually come up with the picture, I'll be ready to just start the cardigan, and it'll just kind of go from there. The cardigan itself I think will be pretty easy. It's just coming up with what's actually gonna go on the back. So I'll keep y'all up to date on that. And my 2-year-old just woke up, so my last project is, like plans. It's just some fingerless gloves. I really want some for myself. My mom wants some. I might make some for JD for driving in the car. You know, it gets so cold in North Carolina. Just kidding. I mean, I'm sure it gets kind of cold in the mountains, but we aren't near the mountains. But it is nice to just have something like pop on your hands, knowing the car is going to be cold, and they're kind of easy and fast, and we'll use up some of my smaller scraps. So I'm excited to do that. Well, I think that's all I wanted to share with you today. Thanks for watching, and I'm hoping to do these videos maybe twice a month, and just like more if I feel like it, or if I have exciting things to show. But anyways, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.